everyone, and welcome back to the Roundup. Today we are talking fantasy projections, best values in best ball right now, and Jared Goff got paid, so we have to go through that quarterback landscape now. So let's get into it in the Roundup. So let's start things off with Jared Goff, who really completed that redemption arc on Monday when he and the Lions agreed on a 4-year, $212 million extension that includes $170 million fully guaranteed. But the thing I want to talk about here is what this does to the quarterback landscape, and specifically Dak Prescott. So Joe Burrow is still the highest paid quarterback in the league in terms of annual value, but now Jared Goff is second at $53 million per season. So something that we all know, the longer that these teams wait, the more likely it is that they're going to have to pay more money. So with Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys, it gets a little interesting because he said back in April he doesn't necessarily want to be the highest paid quarterback, but I think we can all assume that he wants to be paid a little bit more than Jared Goff, especially since he was the MVP runner-up just last season. So they are either going to extend him or they risk losing him to free agency in 2025. So that is going to be something to definitely watch out for. I think another few names that you need to watch for as well: Jordan Love, Trevor Lawrence, and Tua Tagovailoa. Those are the three guys this offseason that could get that big extension. I think more so looking at Jordan Love, they did give him that 1-year extension last year, so they do have an option to ride with him through this season. I think that they could save a lot of money if they get this done now. Tua Tagovailoa, they have to kind of move things around with the Dolphins with money that they have tied up into veterans. And Trevor Lawrence, I don't think they have to rush necessarily because they do have the 5th-year option and they have a little bit of time. But those are the 3 names, including Dak Prescott, which makes 4, that you should watch out for. So I know that the NFL season is months away. Only true sickos are drafting right now on Underdog, but we are the sickos. So I want to go through some early ADPs that you need to target. So before we dive into these ADPs to target, I want to remind you that this article is live 100% free at fantasylife.com, written by Joe Metz. So he has 3 other players that he focused on in this article as well. So if you want all of those, make sure you go to fantasylife.com. So on the Board Pro 75 here, 1 ADP to target: Rhamondre Stevenson. Do not turn away. Yes, we are talking about Rhamondre Stevenson, and we are all going to like it, all right? So Rhamondre Stevenson right now, Underdog ADP 77.9. That puts him at RB20, and I understand. Last season was not great for Rhamondre Stevenson. You had Ezekiel Elliott, who was a consistent thorn in his side, and he was able to finish as the RB27 overall, which was not fantastic based on where we were drafting him. Ezekiel Elliott, when we look at him as well, I mean, he played at least 35% of the snaps in all but 1 week through the first 10 weeks of the season, and in that stretch, Stevenson logged at least 70% of the snaps only twice, which was the first 2 weeks of the season. That's when we thought things were going to be really good. So it's understandable to come into this season and see that his ADP is a little bit different from where it was last season. But we have to talk about the fact that Ezekiel Elliott is not here anymore. He went back to the Dallas Cowboys. You have Mac Jones out as quarterback. You've got a rookie in Drake May in here, and they only signed Antonio Gibson, who's really going to be that passing down asset. So I think this is a great call out. If you want to get back on the Rhamondre Stevenson train, I'm going to join you. I'm targeting him at his ADP because I think he can outperform it right now. The second player that I want to talk about, and again, don't turn away. I know it's the beginning of the season. We got to talk about it. Diontae Johnson, wide receiver for the Panthers. And I really like this call out right now too. Underdog ADP 82.2, that puts him at wide receiver 45, and this is a wide receiver I think that could drastically outperform his current ADP, especially where you're getting it right now. It wasn't good for the Steelers last season, and I understand, and we were always talking about, is he going to come out? Is he going to finally catch that touchdown pass? And he did, but now he's with the Carolina Panthers, and I think Bryce Young is going to take a step up in his game this season. I think that having Dave Canales go over there, he worked with Geno Smith, he worked with Baker Mayfield, and what did we see those 2 quarterbacks do? I don't think it's going to potentially be to that level, but I think when you add a weapon like Diontae Johnson, whether, I know it's not as sexy as we want it to be, I think though that he could bring out a good part in Bryce Young, because we also saw him do it with Adam Thielen, wide receiver 22 finish in PPR formats, and that was his #1 target last season. So I think if Adam Thielen was able to be a wide receiver 2 kind of production, I think Diontae Johnson can also reach those heights. So right now, like I said on Underdog, ADP 82.2, wide receiver 45, I'm targeting him as well. This is more just a PSA to everyone to let you know that Dwayne McFarland's 2024 fantasy football projections are live on the website fantasylife.com. So I want to go through a name or two to just show you what stands out to me. But again, fantasylife.com is where you can go and get this 100% free. So let's check it out. So once you get to fantasylife.com, go ahead and just click that tools drop down. You'll see projections pretty close to the top, and that will bring you to this page right here. And I want to talk about two players from Dwayne McFarland's projections, both running backs, and they are Isaiah Pacheco and Joe Mixon that we can see right here. So I think the great thing about this is you get to see the potential projected rush attempts, the rushing yards, touchdowns, targets, everything that you need to make sound decisions when you're drafting. These two stuck out to me because after the draft, they virtually had no competition added behind them. So it's Isaiah Pacheco's backfield and it is Joe Mixon's backfield, and we can see that in the projections right here. Their rush attempts sit at 232 for Mixon, 211 for Isaiah Pacheco. You've got 949 rushing yards, 917, and then you continue to scroll and you see their projected points. So you're looking at a potential RB7 and RB8 finish in these projections for these two. So I think that's a great call out. Again, you can do not only running backs, I mean, we've got them for anything you need to just continue doing well in your fantasy drafts. So make sure you go and check out those projections again on fantasylife.com, 100% free. All right, thank you so much for watching the Roundup with me this week. Make sure you go to fantasylife.com. All the articles that we talked about, projections, rankings, they are all there 100% free. So make sure you go to fantasylife.com and we'll see you next time.